Hello, and welcome to From Love's Perspective. My name is Jake Rouse,
My name is Talia Mejia.
and we are a husband-wife combo who are the producers for this show. We are kicking off. This is our inaugural episode, so thank you for joining us.
Thank you. So happy to have you.
Today, since it's our first episode, we're going to give you a little bit of background about who we are and a little bit about our love story. Why we were motivated to make this show, and then we'll kind of get into the beginnings and basics of what is love.
So I do marketing for a PR agency, but I'm also a Reiki practitioner. And Jake.
So I am a product management expert who has a specialization in the Salesforce industry. We actually met at work. Funny story. We were cube mates, and we started out just as friends.
Best friends.
Yeah. And it was interesting. It was a very organic relational growth. It was started out as casual friendship, and then, deep conversations led to deeper conversations.
And I think that was one of the most beneficial things for our relationship because we were able to see each other for our truest selves, and there was no condition. We were just friends.
We were able to begin the relationship organically without bringing expectations into it because it wasn't intended to be a love relationship. It was just a friendship that kind of blossomed into what it is today. And that's what makes it so special for us.
Yeah. So we just wanted to share. We're able to communicate in such a beautiful way, and we have such a loving relationship that we felt like we wanted to share that with the world and our experience and how we've gotten there and what we do on a daily basis and to help each other in that journey.
Yeah. We're not perfectionists, but we are constantly trying to grow and learn. We're constantly trying to expand our perspectives, and we feel that, our relationship is one that's very unique and just not something we've experienced a lot of in others. And so we wanted to be able to share that with others so that they could hopefully have the same type of experience that we've had.
We can all grow together from that. So in this first episode, we wanted to start with simply, what is love? What is our definition of love? The definition for my 8-year-old, he said, love is life. And that's such a beautiful and pure way of putting it. Because everything is love, right? The love that you put into everything you do, life, plants, earth, everything is love in some way or some form. And I believe what love is being the best version of yourself. Like if you love somebody, you allow them to be the best version of themselves. And you can, it's not just people, it's animals, it's plants, it's a garden, it's everything around you, allowing it, embracing the unconditional best version of whatever that is, whatever you are loving.
Yeah, and there's some key factors and some common things, that are consistent in any loving relationship. And for me, I think number one is communication. Our relationship was built on a communication foundation.
Honesty, pure, raw, 100% communicating honesty.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where when you first start being 100% honest, even in a friendship, it feels like you're standing naked in front of somebody you just met. It's very vulnerable. It's very opening. But what's beautiful about it is it allows you to see that person for who they are. You see their flaws, you see their weaknesses, you see their strengths, you see everything about them because there's no false pretenses. They're not trying to hide anything. And so with that, it fosters growth. It allows for organic growth in a relationship. And that's with any relationship, friendships, family relationships, love relationships. I mean, it's any type of relationship. It's just a key foundation to be able to have that open communication, because without that open communication, you're not being completely truthful with the person that you're trying to share your love with. And, that's typically a recipe for failure. And it's one that we've all made before, right? I mean, I've made it. It's something that you have to learn from, right? And it was something that we didn't expect to learn. It wasn't something we knew we were going to learn coming in, but just in our honesty with each other and in those conversations, we grew a deeper and deeper mutual respect for each other, a deeper and deeper mutual love for each other. And then before you knew it, we kind of realized that, she's the yin to my yang. So,
and it's funny in that way that you say that, because the darkness and the light, the yin to the yang, Jake and I are honestly not very similar. There are many things that he likes sports. I don't like sports.
I like spicy.
Right. I don't like spicy. There are a lot of food that you like that I don't like. Our palates are completely different.
Our interests are very different. We have, some common interests, but for the most part, we have very separate interests. We have very separate strengths and weaknesses. And
I think that that's what makes it so beautiful, is because it's like the yin and like the yang, where it's a balance, where he's strong, I am not. Where I am strong, he is not. We're able to help each other in that way, like a seesaw in life. One is up. If the other's down, the other one helps them up. If the other's up, we're sharing that. And so I think that's probably one of the most beautiful things about our relationship. When some people may think that may make it harder, we've actually been able to embrace our differences and really learn from them and use them to grow and to help each other succeed in life.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And, it's one of those things where, again, I come back to it. It's something that just happened organically. It wasn't a forced situation. It wasn't something where I was trying to impress a pretty girl. It wasn't something where, I was trying to make myself sound like a better friend or something. There was no false pretenses. It was a very natural, just conversation, really. I mean, it was just a conversation. It was something that after you take a step back and you look at it and you realize, I don't conversate with any other human being like that. It was that realization that was like, oh, wow. I love that kind of conversation that I'm able to have. I love being able to feel like I'm being 100% myself all the time around this human being. Because that's who I am when I'm alone. And that's so important to be able to be who you are when you're alone and when you're with your partner or your friends or whoever it is that you're trying to share your love with.
Your truest self. And I feel like that helps build confidence and gives you the motivation to be the best version of yourself. Because if you know that somebody loves you for being you, then there are no bounds. You can move mountains.
Yeah, absolutely. And, another concept that I think is important to touch on in this first episode is you have to be patient.
Patience is the key to our relationship. Jake is the most patient person that I've ever met. And thank you so much for that.
But yeah, I mean, it's something that we both have worked on. It's something that we've both learned to work with. And it's something that is important early on in the relationship too, because you don't have to look for love, right? The love's going to come. You just have to be patient and let it come. Because if you start looking for something, then you're starting to get out of your comfort zone. You're starting to get out of who you are. You don't want to hide behind what you think someone else is looking for. So if you're patient, people say be patient and let love in. I mean, it's real. If you're
neither
patient,
of us were looking for love.
We weren't looking for love.
Neither of us.
Yeah, we were.
We were actually we do not need love right now.
Yeah. We were both on our own personal journeys. I, for example, was getting out of a long-term relationship and in the process of kind of going through a life overhaul. I totally changed my lifestyle. I changed the way that I ate. I changed the way that I worked. I changed the way that I carried myself on a daily basis. And it was really amazing to have that friend there that I could go through that with and be honest with who I was and what I was going through. And, luckily Talia was there to kind of help me go through that. And it's a vulnerable state, when you're transitioning and uprooting your entire life and going into the next phase of your life, because it wasn't like, I didn't feel like I was changing just to change. I didn't feel like I was changing for anyone else. I was changing for me. Mm-hmm. And that's beautiful, because you have to be willing to work on yourself.
That's a whole nother thing. You have to love yourself before you can love somebody else to the full extent.
Yeah, and we'll get more into that in later episodes as well, because there's a lot of key concepts that we want to hit on. Mm-hmm. But that patience was a key aspect to that. Communication and patience were probably two of the biggest stepping stones to our future relationship that was beginning to blossom, unbeknownst to us. we didn't know. Mm-hmm. We didn't know that was coming. Mm-hmm. So it was beautiful, and I think that a lot of the people who we have met that have similar relationships or similar concepts in their relationship, it happened in similar ways. They mm-hmm. weren't looking for that. That yeah. wasn't what they were. When you set out with a goal to find a husband or to find a relationship, you're already starting on the wrong path.
Right.
You've already made the first mistake. Mm-hmm. You need to set out to have a relationship with
yourself,
and
then your heart will open.
Right, and it's going to come naturally. It'll be through a friendship, or you'll go on a date, and because you have so much love for yourself, you get to be unapologetically yourself mm-hmm. in front of this person that you're on this date with, mm-hmm. and that's something that I don't think a lot of people get to say when they go on these dates, because, look at the dating sites. You're already having to word vomit things that you think somebody else wants to be interested in. Mm. What are your likes and interests? Well, mm-hmm. I'm going to say things that I know people are interested in. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I think...
Or it's just looks-based.
Right.
You just swipe right.
You're already starting off on the wrong foot. So I think it's important to know that you don't have to be looking for love. Now, that's not to say you can't find love on a dating site. It's just important to note that you have to learn how to love yourself first before you can start to put yourself out there.
So the next episode, we're going to go over love languages, the 5 love languages, and how they've helped us in our relationship, and kind of realized what we needed, what our soul was calling from each other, what helps us be the best version of ourselves through love, through how we show our love, through understanding and being aware of each other's needs.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to that episode, because we actually have very different love languages. Mm-hmm. And that, that kind of goes back into that yin-yang conversation that we were having earlier. So it'll be exciting to kind of see where we go with that conversation. A fun note, we just have topics. We're having these conversations organically, because that's the way that we kind of live our life.
You can follow us on Instagram at From Love's Perspective, FromLovePerspective. You can also find me on Instagram, my Reiki practice at Soothing Soul Energy. We look forward to talking with you guys next time.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. It was a lot of fun, and we can't wait to do it again.